The floor mechanic time stop is more of an inconvenience than anything else, and we can use a stable team to bypass it. However, on this floor they do cheat on the boss stage. The Vermilion Bird will go ahead of everyone else and basically cycle all the enemy's gauges. This will cause the enemy to basically kill one of our espers right off the bat. To prevent this from happening, we can actually manipulate who the Vermilion Birds will target. If we only use one Esper that has elemental disadvantage versus the Vermilion Birds, and that would be a Flow Esper, like one of the purple elements, then we can force all the attacks to be on that Esper. Now, I'll be using a very tanky Flower Girl built on the Lifesteal set and Counterattack, but you can use that same principle for any other Flow Esper. So let's take a look at the tanky and stable team. First we have Gabrielle, who has an HP lead, immunity, attack break, defense break, and she just does good damage overall. Next we have Meredith, who's a great healer, and she offers a ton of support as well as good single target damage and removing buffs. Next we have our tank for the last stage. Mine is Flower Girl, and she is built all defense. Next we'll be using a combination of Unki and Suhua, which will basically reduce the cooldowns on our team constantly. And lastly, since we're using Suhua, she does offer a great single target heal that offers invulnerability for the last wave. So we'll just have a quick look at some of the waves and see how they go. Now from the beginning of the fight, we have all the buffs to basically keep us alive while the enemies take all their turns, and we'll gradually work them down over time. Now I'm going to go ahead and speed this along because our team isn't really damage focused, so clearing the stage might take a while. Now that wasn't too bad, but you may want to save your skills for each wave, that way you have everything up going into it. Now this wave is actually very control heavy. They have stuns, freezes, ways to remove your buffs and everything like that. But if you stack enough things and your resistance is high enough, you really don't have to worry about those. I'll speed this up once again. As I mentioned before, you want to save all of your skills for this final fight. Now this is what I was talking about. As you can see, Flower Girl is being targeted entirely, and since she's built so tanky, she can withstand the barrage. This is a very difficult stage, and it's very likely that one of your Espers will die, and that is quite fine. You can still complete the stage with the rest of this team. The biggest thing is that you want to make sure to knock out at least one of the Vermilion Birds, because those are the source of most of the damage that you will receive. If you're still having problems tanking this, you can set up a lot more Espers on the Adamantine set to give you an initial shield, as well as bringing in another healer instead of Unki Chai. Now, as I said, it is pretty common to have at least one Esper be knocked out in this fight, and that is quite fine. The rest of the team can support really well, and so you don't need to worry about it as much. So I'll go ahead and speed this along a bit. As you can see, the fight is actually pretty simple, even though the boss had an unfair advantage. If you're still having problems with this though, just stack adamantine sets to make yourself tankier. If you have questions or questions about substitutions, make sure to comment below. And just a reminder, I do have videos of every 5 floors of Temporal Tower from 25 to 50, and if you have any questions about those, make sure to check out those videos.